Welcome to my talk about creating an LGBT plus family-friendly space in museums. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the role museums and heritage organisations play in becoming truly LGBT plus family-friendly services. My name is Matt Taylor Roberts and I'm the founder and managing director of Proud to be Parents, a not-for-profit organisation dedicated to supporting LGBT plus parents, carers and their families. Today I wanted to highlight two essential points. LGBT plus families exist and they remain an unrepresented community. Museums and heritage organisations can play a vital role in supporting families just like mine by addressing these gaps and creating spaces where all families feel welcomed and represented. I also want to recognise within our audience there's a broad range of experiences and confidence in this area. Some may be knowledgeable and familiar while others are just beginning this work. It is valuable to acknowledge this diversity as our journey towards building more inclusive spaces. I am sorry that I can't be with you today, but I hope you find this pre-recording useful. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to me. My email address is matt@proudtoparents.co.uk. As LGBT plus families, we face unique challenges when navigating public and cultural spaces that still often revolve around traditional mum and dad models. Despite some progress, assumptions about family are still heavily shaped by straight, cisgendered norms. This can make spaces feel unwelcoming or even downright uncomfortable for families like ours. Whether we are formed through pregnancy, adoption, fostering, co-parenting or surrogacy, too often we feel ourselves overlooked or even worse, made to feel invisible. This shows us just how important it is to make an inclusive, individually centered approach that doesn't just claim to be welcoming, but truly makes everyone within our families feel seen, respected and valued. In the UK, our visibility as LGBT plus families is growing, which is really encouraging. Today, there are around 217,000 same-sex families in the UK, a huge leap from 16,000 in 1996. This data, however, is not truly inclusive of all LGBT plus families, as it only represents those that are in civil partnerships or marriages that have gone through the adoption or IVF/pregnancy routes, and therefore we know there are many more within the UK. However, this data is real progress and it reflects how far we've come, but it also reminds us of how much more work is still needed to support families like ours in every space we enter. In 2023, around 1 in 5 adoptions in the UK were to same-sex couples, a meaningful step forward, yet this data highlights how crucial it is for have equal access to resources, services and support. True inclusion means ensuring that spaces meet our diverse needs and don't just welcome us in theory, but in meaningful practice. But even with this positive shift, LGBT plus families still face real challenges every day. Research shows that more than half of LGBT plus families have experienced negative comments or attitudes about their family. In a recent survey by Just Like Us, almost 50% of lesbian and gay parents share concerns about their children being bullied. These aren't just hypothetical worries, these are real fears that carry with us and that directly impact our daily lives and where we attend and the recreational activities we do. Adding to this, hate crime and discriminatory behaviour against families, which has been on the rise, adds to the real challenges that face LGBT plus families day in, day out. What's also concerning is that while our visibility as LGBT plus families is growing, the UK has been slipping in the international rankings for LGBT equality. The UK has dropped 17 places in its rankings since 2014. So while society may seem more inclusive on the surface, we still have significant work to do to ensure that LGBT plus families feel fully supported, respected and safe in every aspect of their lives. In fact, it is estimated that around 6 children from LGBT plus families are in every nursery and school across the UK, and yet public and cultural spaces like museums and heritage sites don't always consider what it takes to make these environments generally welcoming to families just like ours. Creating an inclusive space goes merely beyond acknowledging that our families exist. It means actively creating environments that make us feel welcome, belonged and part of the exhibit. It's about all of us, parents, children and families, feeling seen, feeling supported and being welcomed. Creating truly inclusive and supportive environments starts with understanding and addressing unconscious bias and microaggressions, which are behaviours or assumptions that are unintentionally hurt or exclude others. Unconscious bias is something that we all have, shaped by our own personal experiences, beliefs and values. It influences how we think and act without us even realising it, sometimes leading to snap judgments that may not be fair or accurate. For example, unconscious bias might mean that we'd be more likely to view someone similar to ourselves in a positive light, or we might unknowingly think less of someone who seems different. It can also involve making assumptions based on stereotypes or preconceived ideas about a person or a group of individuals. These biases can affect our behaviours and decisions, like who we feel comfortable around, who we think is capable, or even how we treat others in social or professional settings. Microaggressions are related issues. They are small, often unintentional comments or actions that can make people feel uncomfortable, judged or excluded. These can be things like questioning someone's background because of their accent, assuming someone's role based because of their gender, or making a joke based on a stereotype. Even though these actions might seem minor or harmless, they can add up over time and have a significant impact, especially on people who experience them frequently. By recognising and challenging our own biases, we begin to be mindful of our microaggressions and we can start to build more welcoming and inclusive environments. This awareness helps us to treat people fairly and make sure everybody feels valued and respected. Addressing these behaviours is an ongoing process that takes effort, but it's key to creating spaces where everyone feels like they can belong. For many LGBT+ individuals, navigating a world that often assumes everybody is straight and cisgendered means dealing with frequent, sometimes daily, microaggressions and unconscious bias. Microaggressions are small but powerful comments or actions, often unintentionally, that carry negative or dismissive messages. Even though each one might seem minor or harmless on its own, the impact they have can add up over time and take a real toll on people's mental and physical well-being. Research shows that experiencing microaggressions regularly can lead to mental health issues like depression, anxiety and trauma, and it can even cause physical problems like high blood pressure. Because of this, it's so important for organisations to educate their staff on recognising and preventing microaggressions and unconscious bias. By understanding the harm these behaviours cause, staff can help create a safer, more respectful space for LGBT+ individuals and their families. Microaggressions come in three main types, each affecting people in different ways. There's the micro-assault. These are openly harmful comments or behaviours, though they are often indirect. This could include someone making offensive jokes, using hate speech, or avoiding someone because of their identity. These actions are more direct forms of discrimination, but are sometimes disguised as jokes or just the way things are. Micro-insults are more subtle and often distinguished by comments or innocent questions, but they are still said in a negative and stereotypical messages. For example, telling someone you don't look gay or asking LGBT parents who's the mum and who's the dad suggests that there are only certain kinds of relationships or appearances which are acceptable. Another example is assuming that a child in an LGBT family is missing out on something that they're not having from a traditional family structure. Micro-invalidations dismiss or ignore someone's identity, feelings or experiences. These can be things like telling someone that they are being too sensitive or overreacting, which dismisses their real feelings and experiences. For LGBT+ families, it can mean someone assuming that there's a mum or a dad at home, or telling them that their concerns don't matter. In a world that still is largely shaped by heteronormative and cisnormative views, LGBT+ families face these kinds of challenges every day. For LGBT plus parents and carers, this often means feeling the need to come out again and again in different spaces to represent their family openly and positively. It also means continuously reading the room for signs of safety and acceptance, considering how much of their personal lives they can share, and sometimes preparing their child to respond to a bias or question they may encounter about their family structure. We know from our own research that 50% of our families are not out when accessing recreational activities outside of school or going on school holidays to ensure the protection of their family from discrimination or LGBT phobias. It's worth reflecting on this as we move forward to our next bit. Creating inclusive spaces, especially those that openly affirm LGBT identities, brings out the best in both employees and visitors. When staff members feel comfortable and confident being their true selves, they are more likely to feel connected, engaged, and creative in their roles. This authenticity benefits everybody. Employees are happier and more productive, and visitors feel the warmth of genuine welcoming environments. Research shows that a workplace where people feel that they can be themselves leads to more engagement and new ideas. When employees come from diverse backgrounds and feel valued for who they are, they bring unique perspectives to their work. This diversity can enhance programs, bring fresh ideas, and help teams think outside the box when problem solving. For museums and heritage sites, this means richer exhibits, more dynamic storytelling, and creativity programs that speak to a broader audience. Inclusivity isn't just important for staff, it's essential for visitors too. When people walk into a museum or heritage site and see that this space is for all identities and everybody is celebrated, they're more likely to feel comfortable, open, and ready to connect with stories and exhibits. This is essentially important for LGBT visitors who often feel uncertain about whether a space will welcome them and their family. Knowing that a museum or heritage site values a diversity allows them to engage fully and enjoy the experience authentically. Today's visitors are increasingly looking for organisations with a clear commitment to inclusivity and a purpose. In fact, 86% of visitors report that they are more likely to support a business that stands for something meaningful. Half of visitors say they'll choose, support, or avoid organisations based on their social values. This means that for a museum or heritage site, developing inclusivity isn't just a nice to have, it's an essential part of building a loyal visitor base. When visitors see an organisation's value diversity, they're more likely to return, share positive experiences, and recommend it to others. By creating a space that welcomes and respects every identity, museums and heritage sites can make a powerful impact. Not only just inclusivity, but a welcoming environment for visitors, but it also builds long-term loyalty, engagement, and makes spaces more vibrant and successful for years to come. Here are 5 practical ways your organisation can start creating a more inclusive and welcoming environment for LGBT+ families and visitors. Firstly, inclusive language and imagery. Review the language used in exhibits, forms, signs, marketing material to make sure it reflects a broad range of family structures. Small changes like saying grown-ups or having pronouns on name tags go a long way in showing that all kinds of families and identities are welcome. Displaying imagery of diverse families, including LGBT+ families, on websites, posters, and brochures also signals to visitors that your space is open and inclusive for everybody. Secondly, queer history throughout the exhibits. Instead of limiting LGBT history to Pride Month or LGBT History Month, aim to include these stories throughout your programming and exhibits. By embedding LGBT+ narratives into broader histories, you're normalizing this identity as a natural part of human story. For example, including stories of same-sex couples, gender diverse individuals, or influential LGBT+ figures in history exhibits helps all visitors see that these stories are woven into how our world has been shaped. Staff training and inclusivity. Equip your staff with training on topics like unconscious bias, microaggressions, and the unique dynamics of LGBT+ families. This training helps staff build confidence and awareness in welcoming diverse families. It also gives them skills to handle any awkward situations with sensitivity and respect, which can make a huge difference in how comfortable all visitors feel. Fourthly, dedicated events for LGBT plus families. Create events specifically for LGBT plus families, such as a family-friendly tour, workshops, or storytime sessions. By hosting these events, you're providing a safe and supportive environment where LGBT plus families can engage with the space and each other. It's a wonderful way for families to feel seen and celebrated. It also gives them a chance to connect with other families who share similar experiences. And fifthly, addressing social isolation and building community connections. Many LGBT plus families face social isolation, especially in traditional family spaces where they may feel like they're the only ones or they can't be out within that place. Exclusive events and programming focusing on diverse family structures can help bridge this gap, giving families a space where they feel that they belong. By hosting events that celebrate family diversity, you not only are creating memorable experiences, but you're also helping to build a supportive network among families who may feel otherwise isolated. By implementing these practices, your organisation can create a truly welcoming environment where LGBT plus families feel valued and respected. These efforts not only enrich the visitor experience, but also develop a sense of community and connection that keeps people coming back. Inclusivity isn't just about welcoming everyone through the door, it's about making sure everyone who enters feels at home and equitable. At Proud to be Parents, we have seen how co-production can bring about authentic representation for LGBT plus families. Our collaborations with the People's History Museum on the Unseen Community and the Never Going Underground project are prime examples of this co-production and how it works successfully. The Unseen Community exhibit at the People's History Museum in Manchester was created in collaboration with Proud to be Parents and the Artist Alley crew. It was a powerful photographic journey that explored both the discrimination faced by LGBT plus parents and carers and the joy and resilience of family life. Over a decade, Proud to be Parents has worked with LGBT plus families who have generously shared their personal stories, challenges, triumphs, and everyday moments. We use these stories to support our desire to capture authentic images of family life within the LGBT plus parent and carer community. In creating this exhibit, we prioritise co-production, collaborating directly with LGBT plus parents, carers, and of course their children, to authentically represent their lives. We then created an inclusive and welcoming space within the museum, which showcased the warmth and diversity of family life while challenging assumptions and stereotypes around family structures. LGBT families are too often facing unique challenges and can experience isolation due to limited inclusivity of family-based services, which frequently overlook the needs of non-traditional family models. Through this exhibit, we aim to greater build awareness, understanding, and celebrate these unseen communities. The Unseen Community exhibit was a family-friendly experience with opportunities for children to play, draw, and create their own family to greater embed our similarities across family structures. It continuously remains available online for those who wish to explore our images and what we did. Our involvement in the Never Going Underground exhibit marked the 50th anniversary of the 1967 Sexual Offences Act, honouring 6 decades of LGBT plus activism. Within this family-friendly programme supported by the Heritage Lottery Fund, it ran from February to August in 2017. This programme featured interactive workshops, storytelling, music and crafts to engage all ages. We had the likes of Ollie Pike, who did inclusive tales like Prince Henry, Jamie and Princess Penny and the Pea, which explored themes of love, determination and acceptance. We had workshops led by Matt Hill, which were creative sessions with children to celebrate music's role in activism and self-expression. We also had things like treasure hunts, dream catchers, and identity boxes, which allowed our families to participate in activities that developed creativity and self-reflection. These sessions were shaped by community input. From June to September in 2016, we developed workshop ideas to enhance awareness of LGBT+ history. This included creating Molly spoons, identity boxes, and banners, all with historical context. For example, Molly spoons referenced early LGBT+ social spaces known as Molly houses, symbolising new beginnings. By October, we had begun trialling these workshops with proud-to-parent families to ensure that they would resonate with the wider public and be reflective of what our families would think that should be delivered within a family-friendly, LGBT+ representing space. To further amplify the voices of children within the LGBT families, we used their drawings of their family units on promotional artwork, family-friendly materials, and treasure hunt bags to ensure that the children's perspectives and unique messages and images were integrated into the Never Going Underground project. These initiatives show that co-production goes beyond consultation. It's about building genuine partnerships that bring authentic representation and empower families to feel seen, valued, and understood. We invite everybody to stay engaged through our website and social media channels, where we continue sharing resources and up-and-coming opportunities which can maybe resonate with what you're doing within your spaces. As a cultural institution, museums and heritage organisations are in a unique position to stand against the growing wave of anti-LGBT+ discrimination. Today, as hate crimes and debates around LGBT+ rights and education become more intense, it's more important than ever to create spaces where LGBT+ families feel safe, valued, and respected. These institutions have the power to show support through programs, language, and practices that truly celebrate LGBT+ experiences rather than pushing them into the margins. For example, consider a typical family day event. If the activities, language, or setup assume a family consists of a mum, a dad, and kids, this can unintentionally make LGBT+ parents and carers feel out of place or excluded. For families with, say, 2 mums or 2 dads, or trans or non-binary parents, or any other structure, this traditional model doesn't reflect their reality and can make them feel invisible. But by designing family programs that are intentionally inclusive, where all kinds of families and identities are recognised and embraced, museums and heritage sites can create spaces that welcome everybody. Inclusive programming can make a big difference. Events that highlight diverse family histories, feature LGBT+ figures in history, or host inclusive family workshops show that LGBT+ experiences are valued and part of the broader human story. By making these stories visible year-round and not just during Pride months or relevant other awareness days or events, cultural institutions show their commitment to inclusivity as a core value. The need for supportive spaces is essentially high now, as many LGBT+ families face social isolation or feel unwelcome in certain public areas. Museums and heritage sites have the power to create a space where these families feel safe and supported. By actively designing inclusive programs, using welcoming language, and promoting diverse stories, cultural institutions can help shift the conversation towards acceptance and understanding. This work isn't just about welcoming LGBT+ visitors, it's about creating an environment where every person from every background feels genuinely at home within your space. As leaders and caretakers of cultural spaces, you have the special opportunity to expand how we see and understand families. By reshaping family representation to include everybody, you're helping to change old and narrowed ideas, actively supporting LGBT+ families in what makes a real difference. Instead of keeping LGBT families on the sidelines, you can bring their stories and experiences and contributions into the core of what your space offers, reflecting true diversity of our society. This isn't just about a nod to inclusivity, it's about recognising that LGBT plus families are vibrant, important, and deserve spaces where they feel safe, respected, and celebrated. When LGBT plus families walk into a museum or heritage site and see themselves reflected, it creates a powerful sense of belonging. It tells them, you're welcome here, your family story is valued. And by welcoming these families, you also open the door to broader social change, showing the wider public that diversity is an essential part of our shared history. Recognising and supporting LGBT plus families is a key step forward to creating truly inclusive, welcoming environments for everybody. Your organisation is uniquely positioned to be a leader in this area, setting an example of what it means to create spaces that feel like home for all kinds of families. This commitment to inclusivity doesn't just benefit LGBT plus families, it enriches the experiences of all visitors by showing them every story matters. Thank you so much for taking part in today's discussion and being here to explore these ideas. I hope our discussion has inspired you to see how your organisation can play an essential role in making all families feel valued and welcomed. If you'd like to learn more about what we do at Proud to be Parents, please reach out and see our social media pages and our website www.proudtobeparents.co.uk, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Together we can make sure that every family feels at home in our cultural spaces. Thank you again for your time and commitment to inclusivity. To stay updated with our activities and get involved with your family, visit our website or follow us on social media, and don't forget to register for our monthly newsletter. We look forward to seeing you at our next meetup. Until then, take care, we'll see you soon.